Welcome everybody to new CrossTalkWrestling.
All right. Welcome to episode 2 of Crosstalk Wrestling. Yes, we have a title now, and we're joined by the same guest co-hosts because they just couldn't stay away. They just had to share their 2 cents about what? WrestleMania. WrestleMania is this Sunday. We're taping this on Monday, so we haven't watched Raw or SmackDown this week, and we are giving our predictions, and if we have time, we'll say how we think the card should be in terms of which match goes where. Sound good, guys?
I thought that's how we were doing it. Like each one would give the card breakdown and their thoughts.
I think what we're going to do is we're going to go card by card, match by match, and do a prediction for each match, and then keep going.
Cool.
Sound good? So we'll get right into it. Oh, silly me. First, let's introduce the co-hosts. Adam, you are from OCWrestling.ca, which is down there. You can see it right down there. Anything else that you'd like to plug?
No, that's.
Oh, come on!
And no. He's frozen. He'll probably be back. If not, we'll have to restart the show. But anyway, Kyle, you're from
thetechnophiles.com with head.
Yeah. That's a nice head you got there.
A perfect girlfriend. She doesn't say anything.
Yeah, but her mouth's not open, so. And Adam's back. So, Adam, do you have Twitter?
Actually, no. I think I'm one of the few people who hasn't yet joined the Twitter army
the Twitter sphere?
We're going to have to get Adam on the Twitter sphere.
The Twitter universe, if you will.
Yeah, it's not a WWE universe.
No, it's a Twitter universe.
Okay, so we'll make sure Adam gets on the Twitter so that he can start promoting his products. That being himself.
What products?
Yourself. I'm surprised you have a fan page.
I guess I do.
Yeah, you can link that with your Twitter.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, yeah, it's more promotion. It's smart.
Smart guy.
Yeah.
This show not brought to you by Sprite.
I don't know what you're talking about. They're going to sue me. No, I'm kidding. You should have taped that up. Anyway, so the first match that we're going to talk about for WrestleMania is the highlight of the night, the Divas Tag Team match.
My highlight. Wow!
So it's basically Beth Phoenix and Eve Torres versus Kelly Kelly and Maria Menounos. And this started off by Kelly Kelly being on Maria Menounos' show. Do we know what that show's called? Because I have
Extra.
There we go. Okay, I don't watch that crap. And then Beth Phoenix and Eve Torres came in and said, "Oh, why are you interviewing Kelly Kelly? I'm the world champion." Blah blah blah. And they had a little, not sex, but they had a little fight.
That would have made the show better.
Yeah, probably.
Is this sex?
Yeah.
This is the international internet
That's
symbol.
That's Phil's sign.
Yeah.
His sign language for sex.
Yeah, my wife is very unhappy.
I really hope I don't see a porno with you in it, Phil, because if this is
I don't think you wanted to see that in the first place.
Representation of sex, that's pretty.
Phil in the porno's like bound chicken.
It's puppet sex. Anyway, back to the match. Go on, Adam. What's your take?
Just go, do whatever.
Yeah. What's your take, Adam?
Let's just take the focus off me and my genitalia here for a minute. Well, I think that I can pretty much echo the sentiments of you guys in saying that it's a pretty disappointing match to feature the Divas, especially when we've seen so many great talents, not only showcased, but also a lot of them come into their own in the last year. I mean, in terms of actual talent that's there, you've got Natalya as a potential opponent for Beth Phoenix. You've got Tamina, who I really enjoy. And even to a lesser extent than that, Eve Torres isn't a terrible worker. And then you've got, girls like Kelly Kelly and Alicia Fox, who, yes, although still nowhere near the league of those other girls, have really done quite a bit to improve in the last year. And then, you've got the rest after that. Or even AJ, although I think her storyline with Daniel Bryan is pretty much taking precedence right now. Even still, that's the match that's been set for us because we need a celebrity, I guess. I think that it's a no-brainer that this goes on before the main event to cool down the crowd. I'm pretty sure that's where it will end up, and I'm pretty sure that's what you can expect.
Kyle?
I have to say, I probably will have to agree. It'll probably be the cooler before the Rock Cena main event because everyone's going to be... How I break down the card, as we'll talk about later on, is how it should be. For me, the Divas Tag match is the boringest match I see on this card. The only thing saving it is if you can get Karma to come in and beat up Beth Phoenix, then it'll send the crowd like a little bit of an uptick to sit there and go, we had to sit through possibly 5 minutes of a boring Divas match, but for a good ending.
Yeah.
And it can roll into something else because Karma, her tragic, everything that happened in her personal life set aside, if she's ready for a comeback, what a great way to get not only a WrestleMania payday, but also national exposure to the biggest audience in the world. Set something up with Beth Phoenix to go down the road and possibly hit up 3 or 4 pay-per-views.
Yeah, I have to say myself that they dropped the ball big time on the potential for a Divas tag team. Well, the Divas match altogether, a Divas championship match. They really could have had. They probably could have had 2 Divas matches if you think about just like the quick match for putting Menounos in. And then, someone like 5 minutes.
I think you're saying Menudo, which just makes me smile.
And
I kind of wish they were in the match. That I would pay money.
That
to see
would be great. I would love to see like 17, 16-year-old boys going like, just get beaten up.
Yeah, that would be like the whole John Cena entrance thing. A whole bunch of 17-year-old boys. Okay, anyway, but dropped the ball. There were so many potential things that they could have done. I've already discussed this with Adam in person. I was saying how
you meet in real life.
We
oh my God!
We don't try.
True,
it just
pal.
happens by happenstance.
Figment of your imagination.
But we were discussing how they had a perfect opportunity to bring in Medusa and do a special like title versus title thing. Get back the old women's title.
Who thinks Medusa can go?
Well, I mean, I still think.
I think she's
heavily
kept
athletic.
up. Yeah, she did the monster truck stuff.
Monster truck racing. Yeah, that's the same as bumping in a ring. Yeah.
I think she's still been doing it because she's got a passion for it. So I don't think she's completely gone away from it.
You give her a little bit of time to knock the ring rust off, and I think she could still go. And plus, if Beth's going to be in there helping her out, Beth can carry her. If she can fucking carry, the Bellas and the likes of them, then I'm pretty sure she can carry pretty much anybody at that point in time. Do you think? I do want to ask quickly. Do we think that the reason that they wouldn't bring her in would be more of an idea that newer fans might not recognize her, or do you think it's a grudge thing? Does Vince still harbor some resentment there over what happened?
Newer fans. I think the grudge thing, money overtakes grudge, and I think the hardcore audience would enjoy it, but I think there's not enough people that would enjoy it. And unfortunately, WWE is made up of mostly casual fans.
I would have to go with, it's very easy for WWE to sit there and throw in the WCW tape library to have a quick backstory of Alundra Blaze, Medusa, whoever you want to call her, to show it very quickly. You could do it in 2 weeks and have this thing set up where, she gets pissed off because they're showing, the old women's championship being dumped in the trash. It could have been done easy if they wanted to do it. I think it might have been a slight grudge with Vince saying, you did this to us, you kind of dicked us over. But in the same aspect, I think Medusa, Alundra Blaze, whatever you want to call her, is still a professional. I think she would have done the right thing anyway. But to me, they had a chance to do something big, and they just couldn't figure out anything to do. So they just figured, throw a crappy tag match in, and it's done.
And the other thing they could have done was the whole Karma thing. And like Adam said, that could have been an easy way to just bring in Karma. Though I do think Adam is correct in terms of, I think it was Adam that said this.
I said it.
Oh, Kyle, at the end where Karma comes out?
Yeah,
I think the same thing. I think Karma will distract Beth, but I think Menounos will roll up the pin and get the victory, and then Beth will be pissed off, and Karma will set up a feud for going into the next pay-per-view or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be all right. That'd be a good way to end it.
They got to do something with the Divas division. It's crap.
Oh, yeah.
It's so boring.
Well, that's what happens when you put the focus on just their looks and storylines instead of actual athleticism.
Fair enough.
Our
What's next?
Next match we're going to talk about is the Team Laurinaitis versus Team Long, where we have so far, stop whining, that's my dog.
Not a fan of that match, obviously.
No, he's not.
No, I don't think anyone, well, I guess some people are. But
I am. I'm a big fan of that match. I think it's great. I'm all for it.
So, announced so far is David Otunga and Dolph Ziggler and Jack Swagger and Mark Henry and Christian, and supposedly there's another one that's going to be announced, versus Santino Marella and Great Khali and Zack Ryder and Kofi Kingston and R-Truth and, again, another to be announced. And there goes my camera.
No!
That would be the dog. This is what happens when life sucks.
It's a dog. The dog just took the camera. Life sucks.
I'm going to go.
How can I end it? The
I'm going to go
dog
slit
took
my
camera.
wrist. Sit in the bathtub.
Uh,
Freaking dog. So first of all, who's the two to be announced?
I'm going to go with, for Team Long, I say Mick Foley.
Okay. And
Because that has back history with the Royal Rumble whole thing. So there's at least a little bit of a backstory to at least throw Foley in there. Plus, it gives him a WrestleMania payday, and the fans will be happy.
Laurinaitis team?
At this point, Kurt Hawkins. They can throw anybody in there. It won't matter. It's such crap.
Adam?
I've heard a couple of really good ideas thrown around. Jesse himself had a couple of really good ideas. He said that likely what it will be for Team Laurinaitis will be a guy like maybe Drew McIntyre, who's kind of gotten screwed by
That's
Teddy Long.
actually pretty smart.
And he said it might be interesting to see Miz go to Team Long to try and maybe start him on a face turn.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe he's there to sabotage the team, really, for Johnny.
Yeah, it would be quite a team issue because you'd have Truth and Miz on the same team.
Yeah, actually, I think that would be a really interesting way for them to go. Now, I do want to ask, do you know if the match is elimination style or is it first fall to a finish?
I don't think they're going to decide that until that night.
Yeah, they haven't said anything.
Because I think that will depend greatly upon where it is on the card. If it is an elimination style matchup, I would probably say that it will be put closer towards the second or third match on the card. But if it's a single fall elimination, I expect to see that as the opener.
Yeah, I think this could go either way in terms of elimination or a regular match, because a regular match, they've done it before and they can make it entertaining, just have guys keep swapping out. Elimination, you could do the exact same thing. It's just you can't end it with like the finishing moves ending, you know what I mean? Like everyone does their finishing move in order and then something happens at the end and you get a finish.
We'll take last year. That was really the finish to the big eight-man tag, and that's essentially what happened. Everyone got in there, did their finishes, and that was it.
Someone hit with a schoolboy roll-up, and it's over.
So I'll just say I forgot to say my thoughts on who's going to be in it. I think for Team Long, we're going to see Rey Mysterio come back. And I think for Team Laurinaitis, we're going to see it be The Miz. Because Alberto Del Rio said on some interview that he was told that he's not going to be in it. Which could be a cover-up, but so far, I think he's not in it because he said such bad things about The Miz in an interview, and that's shunned upon when you're not supposed to be, you're not supposed to break kayfabe in interviews.
Oh, they broke kayfabe with those stupid T-shirts.
I know that, and they got a lot of people looking down on them because of it, especially some of the wrestlers in the back.
So that's the word on the street, Phil, that Del Rio's got heat because of those comments?
I think he's just got enough heat that would just kick him out of the WrestleMania payday and put Miz in a spot just to teach him a lesson.
That's disappointing.
Well, I can see if they wanted to go with the Miz, they can go Miz and Foley because that'll set up the Mick Foley's next book where Miz is the bully in the book. So it could have a way to kind of parlay that in other things.
And then maybe SummerSlam Miz versus Foley.
Yeah, I mean,
because Foley needs a couple months to get in shape. That's what he said.
Yeah, I mean, if WWE creative is anything smart, they kind of see other things outside of what's in front of them.
Yeah,
I guess we'll find out tonight because they're pretty much if they're gonna make a big announcement where they're going to put a legend on the team. It'll be tonight.
And Miz said he has a special announcement tonight too. So
let's see what happens.
What do you think is going to be the end of this match? Any ideas?
I got Team Long winning.
Originally I was going to go with Team Johnny, but after talking to Jesse for a little bit, he did make it clear, to me anyway, with a lot of the points he had made, that, yeah, it does make a little bit more sense for Long to go over. Plus, if it does end up in the opening spot, as I predict, it's likely that they're going to open up with something, big babyface win to start the show off hot and
Yep.
the fans.
That's the only way they can keep it.
It hasn't always been that way, but that's what I think that they will do.
Yeah, that's the only way you can keep it so that it makes sense that no interactions happen during the matches. Because if Laurinaitis wins, he'll want to interfere in matches, which could end up happening too. It might make things interesting, but I believe as well that it's going to be Theodore Long winning, and then Laurinaitis not having any input for the rest of either the rest of the night, or something happens on Monday. Who knows? But them, they tend to like to drop the storylines.
I love the dog.
Delilah.
I got Zack Ryder winning because I checked the Vegas odds. So I know some bookies. I got Vegas odds guiding Zack Ryder winning with a La Magistra Cradle.
He's not going to bring head into the ring.
I got head. My head.
All right, next match that we're talking about is Orton versus Kane. A match that was thrown together at the last moment, I guess, to put Orton and Kane on the show. All right, who wants to take this first? Adam. Adam wants to.
I don't hate this match. I mean, Kane and Orton are very good workers, and I think that they'll put on something solid and quality. I really do feel bad for Randy Orton in this spot because, throughout the fall, he really did his best to get other people over and really tried to give other people a shot at the top. And I assumed that the thinking behind it was that, well, I'll let these guys take over and then work my way back into that main event area around Mania, which, in my opinion, I think that they were planning on doing until he got hurt. So it's really an unfortunate circumstance for him. This is, I think, really a story of two guys who came back and had a lot of heat, and then they've both kind of cooled off. I think that Kane has really lost his momentum since the Cena feud, and Orton just hasn't been able to bounce back from his injuries yet. He's still over and still very popular, but, I don't think it will be a bad match by any means. In terms of placement on the card, third or fourth. I don't see it being anything special. This one is another one that could open the show, but I don't think it's got enough traction for it to do that.
Kyle?
Yeah, I got to go. The whole Orton-Kane thing just seemed kind of thrown together last second. Like, it really has little to no backstory. It doesn't really grab my interest. I'm with Adam. I could see it going on the first part of the card. I could see it curtain jerking, only because it's a quick match. It's something, both two over superstars, gets the crowd going. I see Orton going over Kane because Kane, they don't really have anything for him. Like, they don't put him in the title picture at all, but this will help Orton propel him to the top, which later on we'll talk about that later. So I got Orton going over Kane. I say it's going in the first match.
I think this is a weird situation because I guess they didn't know what to do with these guys. They said they had these two guys just like, we don't know what to do. We have matches set up for pretty much everyone else, and why don't we just throw these two guys together? There's no proper build up. The build up is I'll attack you, you attack me. Who cares?
And we've seen that in the past, and in some cases it turns out really well because two guys just managed to have a good match, which is why I'm not completely disappointed in this, because I do believe that those two will put on a good match given their history and their abilities.
Unfortunately, a good match does not matter in this situation because it comes to build up, and the build up leads to views, pay-per-view buys. And unfortunately, when it comes, whether the match is good or not, it's going to be nice, but it matters. The build up is what matters most to get people to buy the pay-per-view.
Man, there's no build up on this one.
And that's definitely the case, absolutely.
So I think the smartest thing that they could have done was to put Orton on Team Long or something, and then put Zack Ryder versus Kane to continue that feud.
Yeah.
and
I was
then
completely
have
expecting them to do
even
that,
there.
and that's what I was hoping for as well. Yeah.
I know it wasn't. The feud was over. They could have continued it. They could have kept it prolonged for WrestleMania, and it would have gotten way more interest than this match.
But I think maybe with that, if they would have gotten a better Divas match, then that would have freed up Eve to go in with the Zack Ryder versus Kane thing at WrestleMania. It would have freed her up. But since they didn't get a good Divas match, they kind of just threw her to the side, and Ryder got tossed aside, and then they had Orton versus Kane for no reason. For all I care, they're going to put Yoshitatsu versus Tyler Rex for this spot, and it would have cared as equal.
Yeah, I think
Would
this
not have
is
mattered.
a perfect example of them focusing too much on the main events, and again forgetting or putting last minute things together for all the other matches. And that's the biggest problem with WrestleManias, is that they just focus on the big time matches, and who cares about everything else? We'll just throw it together, no one will care, and whatever.
Don't buy it. No one will care.
Exactly, and that's unfortunate because I want to see a top to bottom solid card.
Well, I think also from a marketing standpoint, I think maybe what they're trying to do is that, putting so much focus on the big marquee matches, it's like the old idea of, star power, right? You put your big stars on top to draw in the people, and then you use your undercard to sell them on what you're all about, kind of thing. Now, I don't know if that is the strategy here, but it is one potential reason why it's being done that way. I also agree that the build-up for this year's WrestleMania has been piss poor at best.
Yeah, aside from the main events have been pretty good. Well,
Who doesn't know Rock versus Cena at this point?
yes, but this still has been well put together.
The feud and the build-up towards it, yeah, but the rest of the card just seems kind of hodgepodge.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we got Rock versus Cena, we have 2 titles, let's throw them on there, and everything else is like, who wants a payday?
But we'll go into a title match. Cody Rhodes versus Big Show for the Intercontinental Championship. The whole premise was that Cody Rhodes started making fun of the Big Show for all his WrestleMania moments, which was great. But what do you think of this match?
Who's hungry for some food at WrestleMania? The way I see this one looking, I look at like they're trying to build Cody Rhodes into a legitimate main eventer.
Mm-hmm.
So the best way to do it is to make him go against one of their biggest guys, kind of like what they did with Rey Mysterio, to have the little young underling kind of beat up on the big guy. Even if he falls
David
short,
and Goliath.
even if he falls short, he'll still look good in the eyes of the fans. Like, he tried, went up against the biggest guy they could find, still lost, but put up a hell of a fight. So I see it being a competitive matchup. I don't see a lot of suplexes from Cody. I don't even see a body slam coming, nor a headlock. I see a lot of running and kicking.
Yeah.
So I'll have Big Show going over Cody Rhodes in about 10 minutes of a matchup.
Really?
Yeah, I see it going 10 minutes, just to kind of give Cody Rhodes enough time in the eyes of the fans, enough time to show he can run with the big guy, can do work, and still pull off, come close but not close enough.
Adam?
Completely agree with Kyle on everything. I see Show going over clean as a way to allow him to step down while a guy like Cody Rhodes takes that next step up towards the main event. And timing sounds right in terms of placement in the card. I probably see it on the second half, but I think it'll be good. I'm actually picking this as my sleeper match. I think that they'll have potential to have a lot of great interaction there, and I think it actually has potential to be a really great match on the card.
I see Cody Rhodes going over with cheating to win. I think he'll do something to cheat, and I wish this match was some kind of like no disqualification or grudge match, something like that. So it would give more for Cody Rhodes to more likely to win type thing, like a bigger underdog type issue.
You never know what could happen. I mean, like, if Team Long happens before this and Teddy wins, he could easily make it no DQ because he's seen Cody Rhodes cheat in the past. So, the card, as always, is subject to change. So anything can really happen. But for me, Cody Rhodes winning doesn't have as much of an effect as him losing, but trying. Whereas Big Show winning doesn't really elevate him, doesn't really, drop him down, just kind of keeps it even keel. But it still shows Cody at least giving it a try. I can see him trying to throw high-risk maneuvers, going outside, trying to keep the match rolling, and lots of moving. So you can say Big Show wins, but it doesn't really propel him. It doesn't really do anything. I mean, you can have Cody winning. It doesn't really do anything in the winning aspect.
Yeah, well, Cody, if he wins, it does more for him in terms of pushing him to the main.
Not if he cheats, it doesn't. Because
I think either way.
If he cheats, then it kind of just makes it look like, you could have put wrestler A against Big Show, have him cheat, and he does what will normally happen. But you have Big Show winning, Cody Rhodes actually legitimately trying. It'll help Cody Rhodes in the long run.
Do you see, I see the typical thing that happens for a wrestling match like this is that Cody does whatever, he wins, and then Big Show gets the quick revenge by choke slam or knockout punch, just to make it still a happy moment.
No, I can see Cody. If Cody were to win, he gets out as quick as possible and starts laughing up the ramp.
Adam?
I mean, I completely agree that I think that it makes much more sense to put Big Show over in the sense, not just because of the factors that we've already mentioned, but also the build-up as well. I mean, for weeks upon weeks, Cody Rhodes really has gotten the verbal upper hand on Big Show, and even on, I don't know if it was SmackDown or on Raw, but just Cody handcuffing Show and then, beating him up. So really, if Rhodes does go over clean, especially in that match, it makes Big Show look like an nincompoop, and it makes him look like everything Rhodes has said is absolutely true, and it kills him.
But wouldn't that be a good storyline to springboard off of and have Big Show really upset and depressive?
I think that's kind of the end of the story, though, because remember, the whole reason that Rhodes has singled out the Big Show is that he has a poor WrestleMania record. So for Rhodes to beat him at WrestleMania would basically validate everything that the heel has said. And from a good storytelling point after that, where's the reason for them to fight again? There isn't.
It just stops right there. It doesn't go anywhere. But if Big Show wins, then he can pull that against Cody Rhodes. You could have another month-long program by saying, look, I beat you at WrestleMania. You said I couldn't do it. I've been embarrassed. I beat you. So now you have your WrestleMania moment embarrassed.
But again, if Big Show loses, it doesn't matter. He's the Big Show. At any point, they can create a storyline for him. There's no loss there. If Cody Rhodes loses, then there's a loss there because you've got this build-up that he just loses steam.
Well, no, he doesn't lose steam because he sat there and berated Big Show, telling him that you can't win, you can't do anything, and then he beats him. It just proves him right, and it's all right, you just move on, and Big Show's stuck with nobody. Cody Rhodes goes to whom? He doesn't have
anyone. He can go against Sheamus.
No, dear God.
For the title, it's just a little of a giveaway for my prediction later. But
no, like I said, with Big Show winning, it keeps their program going for a little bit longer because then you have Big Show using his WrestleMania moment against Cody Rhodes, against Cody, and then Cody's trying to get his revenge back. So it can prolong the feud a little bit, keep Cody Rhodes showing that, he can keep trying and trying. Maybe Cody Rhodes wins in the end, not at WrestleMania, maybe at SummerSlam or some other event. But for right now, I got Big Show going over. That way it helps Cody Rhodes in the eyes of the fans to show that he ran with a big dog, lost, but lost trying. And at least propels the feud a little bit longer.
Okay, so we'll go to the next match. And the next match that I have listed here is Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan for the...
I don't know who that is.
For the World Championship on SmackDown.
I know Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, the American Dragon. Anyway, thoughts?
My favorite promo he's ever done. Love that one.
Adam?
Really, really, really disappointed in the build for this match. Sheamus has no heat whatsoever. And it's really unfortunate and almost ironic because Daniel Bryan probably has some of the best heat out of anybody on the roster these days, but the heat is not with Sheamus. It's with his girlfriend, AJ.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really disappointing, especially considering what a great talent I think Sheamus is. And I think that this match could be something that fans would look forward to, but unfortunately, it seems to me like the Fed just thought, well, if he wins the Royal Rumble, that'll be enough to carry him right through. And sadly, the interaction between these two has neither been captivating nor anything to write home about. And for that particular reason, I think this one is going to go on earlier. And actually, right up until it would not surprise me at all to see this match open up the show. I don't think it will, and I don't think it should, but it would not surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me either.
And I definitely see Daniel Bryan retaining. Whether that be through hook or by crook depends on how much they want to bring down Sheamus at this point in time.
Kyle?
Oh, I was waiting for my cue. I think you're absolutely. I think you're right, fella. The build-up for this match has been piss poor at best. Just because you won the Rumble doesn't, you still have to show you can at least carry a program. You got to do something. Daniel Bryan has been magical on the stick. His interactions with AJ has been fantastic. He's been trying to help Sheamus along, but Sheamus doesn't really kind of talk well, which is odd because they're really pushing, WWE is really pushing him to be like the new face of WWE, but I agree with Adam. I could see this going first, kind of like what they did last year with Edge. But I'm going to have Sheamus winning with AJ screwing over Daniel Bryan.
I think it's the most obvious prediction. Adam, what was your prediction for it?
I still think D. Bryan is gonna retain. I think that the AJ Bryan course or story has not run its course yet. I think that we've only just begun to see the ways that Daniel Bryan can abuse her, and I think that they're gonna let it go a little bit longer. And I think again, because of the way that Sheamus has been the last few weeks, I don't think they're gonna pull the trigger. I wouldn't have a problem with it because I am a big fan of Sheamus, and I think he definitely should be that next guy in line to be the face of the company. But I don't think at this point in time that's going to be the way to go with it. I think that there is still gas in the Daniel Bryan AJ tank. If it was Daniel Bryan going against the Big Show, I could definitely see that because this whole story started with him. That would have been perfect. In a perfect world, that would have been my Mania match that I would have booked. But because it's Sheamus and because there's still, I think, some gas in the tank, and because at this point in time my predictions are pretty lopsided towards the baby faces, I'm going to put Daniel Bryan over on this one, and I just think that he's going to take it. He's going to retain.
I think you're being a little too hopeful. I think WWE and their most likeliness is to have AJ turn and help Sheamus. It just makes the most sense in this situation. I think it'll happen after something exposes Daniel to her, not in a perverted way, but
this show is very perverted.
I was about to say, Phil once again mentioning genitalia and sexual things.
Something weird will happen.
But using her as a shield and stuff like that, it's just going to get to her during the match. I think they're going to do it a couple times and build that towards her kind of figuring out and throughout these little incidents going, oh, I see what's going on here. And then like screwing him over in terms of probably he'll ask for something to be thrown to him or
grab the leg. I love grab the leg.
It's just something, and she'll be like, she'll be reluctant and not do it.
I will say this. I really can't wait until they finally do have AJ see the light. Because I'm really interested to see how they have Daniel Bryan played up from there. But I would love to see him do the slimy
cattle mutilator.
Well, no, not only that, but him doing the slimy boyfriend, trying to beg for her forgiveness and see all the different ways that he could do that kind of thing. I think he'd be really entertaining.
I think the only way you could have Daniel Bryan win this match is if he does that whole AJ thing and she's reluctant on helping at the end. Stop it!
Thought you had cops outside.
She's reluctant at the end and doesn't help him, and then one of the Bella twins come in and help him.
Well, I can see that happening afterwards. Like if AJ does something to screw over Bryan Danielson, I'm never going to Daniel Bryan. I can see that going on. I can see that going on where he starts to roll in with the Bella twins and something happens and they try to spin his real life off-screen romance with one of the Bella twins and roll it into a storyline with AJ, I could see that happening. I'd really love to see a great technical matchup, I guess, from Daniel Bryan, just to show off some of his moves that he can do. I'd love to see the cattle mutilator come back. Oh, I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
A lot more MMA stuff with his elbows and kicks and things like that. This would be the perfect opportunity to showcase Daniel Bryan for what he can do. And if you put it first, it's a great opportunity. You let it go about 15 minutes, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, next match. We're going to go right into it. Oh, I don't want to go into that. Let's go with WWE Championship match. CM Punk versus Chris Jericho.
Adam, go.
This match, I am looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good one, obviously. I think that the stuff trying to involve Punk's family has been unnecessary. I really don't think it's been needed at this point in time. I think that that's something they probably could have saved for their rematches down the line. But I don't think it was needed here. I think that the build-up so far of these two competitors has actually been compelling enough, personally. That's still not my call, and that's the way that it is, but just my opinion of it. I see this one being good, possibly best match of the night. Obviously, there's that potential when you're talking about two fantastic wrestlers as Chris Jericho and CM Punk. I see Punk going over clean, and I see Jericho chasing him a little bit more throughout the spring.
Yeah, I'm sorry I had to make you go first, Adam. I was going to sneeze. I wasn't trying to. I wasn't trying to
please.
run the show here, Phil. I'm just not trying to run the show.
I opened up the last one, so I just thought we were kicking it back to you, Kyle. My bad.
No, I almost had to sneeze. I was like, I'm going to hop. No, I like what Chris Jericho's done involving CM Punk's personal life, because it's been done before on the indies to great success, where CM Punk can have that. You have the added fuel to the fire that, Chris Jericho is trying to make this a little bit more personal, and Punk is trying to be as professional as he can be about it. It just shows just how deeply psychotic Jericho's character can be, and I think that could only add another layer to the match. I mean, on the whole, if you just put these two guys together in a bowl and just let them go at it, it's fantastic no matter what. Adding a little bit of layers to it just only helps the matter more. I got Punk going over clean again, same with Adam, only because Jericho's going to be leaving soon. So it's kind of pointless to put the belt on him and then have him run away.
Do you really think he's going to be leaving?
Oh yeah, he's got a couple of tour dates with Fozzy coming up.
Well, he said there was only 2.
You never trust Jericho. He's got more than 2.
I don't know. I think he'll do both.
I just want to clarify something with the point that is being made there. I agree that the stuff that has been going on with Jericho and Punk in terms of the family stuff has been very good. There's no doubt about that. My opinion is that it's the wrong time for it. I think that especially considering the show that it's on, considering that it does have the shadow of the Hell in a Cell and Roxina looming over it, I would prefer that they have held that off till maybe do they still do Backlash? I don't know if that's still the pay-per-view anymore. Extreme Rules, that's the next pay-per-view, Extreme Rules.
Is it?
I would have... I think
have they finally decided?
I think I would have much rather seen them use that at that point in time because of a couple different reasons. One, if Punk does in fact go over clean, this is something that Jericho can use to goad Punk into a rematch, which would make a lot of sense. But not only that, but if it is going to be the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, then the issue becomes personal and gives a reason.
I think it's over the limit.
Maybe. I'm not sure. But the point
Hell,
is
it's going to be in your house. That's what it's going to be. They're bringing back in your house.
But it will also allow that story to take center stage as opposed to just being the third main event at WrestleMania, which I think would be a bit better for it to be having those kind of storyline elements brought to it when it can be the focal point of a pay-per-view as opposed to an afterthought behind the Attitude Era show.
Well, this is going to be a highlight in terms of wrestling for WrestleMania. I think you're definitely getting like a best in the world versus a best in the world match. You're
at what he does.
And
that's the whole thing. He's got the best in the world and the best in the world and what he does.
In any case, it's going to be a really good match. I think it's going to steal the show in terms of wrestling. But how it's going to end. I see it going both ways. I keep being indecisive about it because if Jericho wins, it gives the rematch ability, the big rematch stuff. I think Jericho having the title until SummerSlam would be a smart move, and then having CM Punk finally win it back. But it looks more likely if you look at all the other the rest of the card, it looks like CM Punk would be the smartest thing to put over on this match. It doesn't matter who wins. It really doesn't, because at the end of the day, you can always rematch them. This one with no problems whatsoever, and put it back to the way it was. So they'll both come off the same. It's going to be a great match. Who cares?
How awesome is that both WWE champions are fantastic mat wrestlers?
Yeah, both with the same type of background too.
Yeah, you can put them in any kind of match against anybody, and they can go. The thing I've noticed is that WWE apparently doesn't have a problem rehashing old Ring of Honor angles, i.e. the Summer of Punk.
Mm-hmm.
If they really wanted to, because what I saw them doing with the Jericho, your dad's an alcoholic. Okay, I won't talk about your dad, but your sister's got a problem. I can kind of see them doing what they did with Tommy Dreamer and Raven, taking CM Punk, tying to the ropes, and forcing a beer down his throat.
Jake the Snake and
Jerry Lawler.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's something that's been done before, but it's still the WWE fans wouldn't know that because
Exactly.
Ring of Honor is not that big unless you're from the Philadelphia area or you're a big tape trader. So that angle itself has potential to where it could be fantastic, where you can force the straight edge issue onto Punk and fuel whatever they got going. So if you have Jericho win, you can kind of push that issue towards SummerSlam. It culminates and it blows out big.
I've been waiting for them to rehash that same storyline, the same thing that you're talking about, the force feeding him of whatever. But do you think WWE would actually do that, especially with them being so focused on the wellness program and trying to get over in terms of that? And
Wellness has nothing to do with alcohol.
yes, but the whole situation is that they're also trying to go PG, right? And they're getting us slowly away from that. I agree.
They have been.
The other thing you have to think about is the positioning of it. It's not them trying to force. It's a heel trying to force the alcohol on the face, trying to show that he's forcing him to make this decision, as opposed to CM Punk who's saying, no, I'm making this choice to keep myself clean, which is great if you're looking for a role model towards kids. Which they
I agree that it'd be
so,
really good. It'll be really interesting. It would work. But I think that WWE would be too worried to do it.
Well, the other thing they could do, instead of forcing it down his throat, Jericho can knock him out and pour a beer on him, and it still have the same effect.
Yeah.
Where
They did that with Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, and in that aspect, you're tainting his straight edge lifestyle without pushing the boundary too hard. Mm-hmm. So I mean, there's ways they can go about it if they're going to go that way. If you want to plan 3, 4, 5 months down the road.
Anything else to add to that, Adam?
Chris Jericho should drug his Pepsi as a joke.
Or at least say that on Twitter.
I told you. I told you would put drugs in your system.
Oh, that'd be awesome if they actually wrote the wellness program into the storyline.
Hey, weird stuff is
It's been done before.
Yeah, but not to an extent where it would be like, oh, we're suspending CM Punk because of wellness program issues.
I think that would be cool.
And then
that'd be a cool angle.
Yeah, and then it's revealed that Jericho spiked him.
Jericho crushed pills into his
tried to date rape him.
You can't get a wellness hit for Rohypnol.
All right. Let's go on. I'm going to go with Undertaker versus Triple H, with Shawn Michaels as special referee in a Hell in a Cell match. Thoughts?
This one's a tough one. I still think they're going to have Taker win it, only because he is the biggest dog in the yard, and he is the guy every superstar looks at and goes, we'll just follow his lead. Taker can say, we're all going to wrestle in togas, and everyone will go, we'll all wrestle in togas. He's got a great idea.
We'll let him do it.
Yeah, I think it'll be a very bloody match, because that's the only way it can top last year's. It has to go above and beyond what they did last year, and that's going to be tough in the terms of physicality. It's going to have to be bad. Do I see it going on top of the cage and someone going through the cage again? I hope not. No. I'm so tired of it. It'd be great if he pinned him on top of the cage. That would be fantastic. But I can also see Shawn Michaels turning on Triple H just because to prove to Triple H that he is still better than Triple H.
Adam?
No, I agree on a lot of those points. I don't necessarily think that they're going to need a lot of blood to or excess violence to make the match better. And I always have this conversation with another friend of mine, Danny, because he feels as though the quality of WWE programming would be a lot better if blood was back in the mix. But I always like to point to the Legacy versus DX Hell in a Cell match that they did a few years ago as a great example of a Hell in a Cell match that can be incredibly entertaining and still very physical and very violent without having blood in it. But that's another topic for another time. Whether they go with it or not, I don't have a problem if they do it. But either way, I think I agree the match itself should be very entertaining, at least. In terms of a finish, I think to me, there's no doubt that Taker's still going to go over and continue the streak alive, and that it will be because of Shawn Michaels, so that we will see a potential triple threat and or Michaels, Triple H, 47 million at WrestleMania 29, which, don't get me wrong, I certainly wouldn't have a problem with. I've enjoyed every bit of their work that they've done, but I do think that is the direction it's headed in. So I see Undertaker over with shenanigans from the Heartbreak Kid.
Shenanigans!
I actually, like I think I said before, well, anyway, I have a long, drawn-out answer to this, of how I hope it goes down, which I can see it going down this way because it's WWE. So I'll just read it. I think things will get so heated at the end of the match that due to a close call, Taker puts his hands on HBK and gets super kicked. I think after that, Triple H goes for the cover. Shawn reluctantly goes for a 3 count as he knows it's not the right way for things to go. Count slow, but Taker kicks out. Triple H, mad at Shawn, gets more heated, and Shawn super kicks him. Taker goes for pin, reluctant 3 count by Shawn Michaels, and Taker gets the win.
Yeah, I can see
I think that's the perfect way to go, because then you can build whatever you want.
It could happen that way.
And I do agree. I think they are going. I think more likely than not, I could see a triple threat match next year with these 3 guys, and then have that go awry as well, and have Triple H versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 30, have Undertaker versus some big name at WrestleMania 30, because I think WrestleMania 30 is going to need some huge main events.
Well, I mean, here's the thing about that. Like, I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily the case. Like, I mean, if you take a look at the history, WrestleMania 10 was a show built on showcasing the new era stars of the WWE and some really fantastic wrestling matches. I mean, to this day, when you talk about great wrestling matches, 2 of the matches that always come up are the Shawn Michaels Razor Ramon ladder match and the Bret Hart and Owen Hart opener from WrestleMania 10. Not to mention, the incredible Crush Randy Savage Falls Count Anywhere match. No.
Brilliant match. Oh, I was riveted.
I should have said. I should have mentioned the Quebecers Men on a Mission match. That really was the one that took the show. And even WrestleMania 20 was the same idea. You did have a couple of returning stars like, Rock and Foley and whatnot. But
God just came.
You mentioned The Rock, and then suddenly the light.
The most electrifying man in all of internet.
It's actually my wife, who also deserves her own angelic light for putting up with me and allowing me to do stuff like this.
I wish he'd hit you with a chair. Hit him with a chair!
Just from behind, all of a sudden. Where's Jesse when you need him?
That's fine.
Put him in a sleeper!
But even then, WrestleMania 20, there was a large focus on kind of the new talent. Now, whether that will be the case, I don't know, because in recent years, nostalgia has been a hit for the WWE. So, I mean, will it go that direction? It's very likely. I mean, obviously, card subject to change, right? It is going to change as we get closer to, but it is a good theory, without question.
So we're going to be seeing a Sergeant Slaughter versus Iron Sheik match soon.
We can only hope.
Fantastic.
I really would like to see Sergeant Slaughter become humble.
Oh, the big rumor as of late was Big Viscera being on the show for some reason, but
no, that's gone.
That's gone. I know.
No. I don't want Big Vis, but I do want Big Daddy V.
Yes. Whatever. Okay, let's go on to the last match. We're going way over time, but that's okay. It's WrestleMania predictions. The Rock versus John Cena. Thoughts?
Bored.
Really?
Because it took so long, like a year in advance, like, it's going to be great, it's going to be fantastic, but then the weeks leading up to it have all just dropped the ball. It doesn't really seem to have that hype and that build-up. It doesn't seem to interest me. It's like, if you have The Rock going over, it makes John Cena look like crap. You got John Cena going over, it just shows that The Rock wasn't ready or whatever, and The Rock's going to go away. This match serves no purpose in any which way.
Well, except for like the mainstream fans trying to get those people back. I think that's enough.
That's the wrong match to do it. The CM Punk Jericho match would do it. If you had Daniel Bryan in the main event against someone else other than Sheamus, that would get casual fans back in it because it shows wrestling. This is just, let's just put our biggest star now versus the biggest star we've had before. It's not going to go well unless they get John Cena to turn heel.
I'm hoping.
Because if it happens again like it did with Hogan, where The Rock was the babyface going in and then the heel going out, that was great. So I'm bored of this match. It does nothing for me, but I'd have John Cena going over The Rock just to keep status quo with he's still staying in the WWE, so we'll just keep pushing the guy who's going to be around a while.
Adam?
I definitely agree that at this point in time, the build-up has been a little boring. In the sense that I'm sick of seeing The Rock and John Cena talk at one another. I want to see them talk to each other if you're not going to put them in physical contact with one
I think that
another,
happens this week on Raw.
I hope so. God bless them. I hope so, because I really would like to see those two interact again. Because the last time those two actually talked to one another, it actually provided an exciting moment with Cena basically tearing The Rock a new one for using cue cards on his wrist. It was hilarious. It was fantastic. Now, in terms of what the purpose of this match is supposed to fulfill, I think that the initial idea behind it was to capture lightning in a bottle for a second time, because they did this with Rock and Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the advantage at that point in time was that they intentionally had a clear-cut heel and face with Hogan being the heel. Didn't quite work out that way, but that was just a nice little unexpected bonus for the WWE. Now, in terms of this match with Rock and Cena, I mean, there's no doubt that Rock will be going in as the hometown babyface hero, and Cena's going to get booed out of the building. There's no question about it.
That could happen in Podunk, Wisconsin.
Right.
No one likes Cena.
All I'm saying is that there's no doubt about it that he's going to be getting booed in that match. There's no doubt about that. Now, what I've heard is that the WWE plans on setting up a series of matches between Rock and Cena, with it culminating in their rubber match at next year's WrestleMania in Jersey. Now, I don't know if that is the case. But with that rumor fresh in the rumor mill, and the fact that we're in Miami, I do see them putting Rock over. I don't, if they are doing that series. If not, to me, the smart decision is obviously to put over John Cena, because he is going to be there next week, and Rock won't. Now, in terms of the heel turn, I don't know if that's going to necessarily happen. It would be surprising to me if they did do it, simply because of the value that John Cena has to the company outside of the ring as a babyface. I'm not saying that it's not possible, but I'm saying that it would surprise me greatly if that was to happen. So, final prediction, Rock over, possibly through shenanigans, if they're going to keep the series. I love that word. It's a great word.
I think the smartest thing to do with this is to turn Cena heel. There's nowhere it's Cena. You can do anything with him. Like, you keep him face and it'll be fine. But I think the biggest thing that they're going to do is they're going to continue this and have another match with them on the next WrestleMania. I don't like the idea of it, but they're going to do it. I think Cena turning heel would be awesome. Like, you could do it either way. Either person winning, and Cena can turn heel, and it would be very entertaining. You have
look what it did to Hogan.
Yeah, you have The Rock winning, and Cena just getting mad and trying to get revenge and all that stuff. Or you can have Cena winning by being a heel, by going not doing the right thing, and having it be questionable, or make it like somewhat on the line so that people are like, that's not like Cena. Why did he do it that way? And is he turning heel? And then everyone questioning him slowly actually turns him heel.
I would like a slow turn.
Yeah, me too.
Fast burn.
And I think that's what they were going with the Kane
Plant
stuff.
little seeds. No, the Kane stuff was just him backing up his friend Zack Ryder and doing whatever and just having to go that extra mile to beat up somebody. But the Super Cena still came through and it bored the crap out of everybody.
I agree, but I think that's where they were going. They were like seeing, oh, will this is he going to turn heel? They were kind of teasing it, but it didn't go anywhere.
I think they started maybe planting seeds when he had that wrap off, because it kind of showed the attitude era, the small tail end of attitude era of John Cena, having that attitude, having that I don't give a crap authority kind of whatever, and then go that route with minus the rapping, but still have that attitude. If they would have carried it over, it would have been fantastic.
Oh yeah, being that Cena for a heel would be really good. It would be amazing.
I don't know. I don't see any business advantages whatsoever to turning John Cena heel.
I think it'd be great for business. I think if he went with that old school approach and he was the heel, but people loved him as that heel.
But you can take that approach without him being a heel, is what I'm saying. I don't think the problem is necessarily in his position as babyface or heel. I think that the problem is in the basic dynamic of how creative is writing his character at this point in time. Because I have been entertained by John Cena in the last few weeks, not because he's been acting heelish, but because he's been acting as an intense competitor who cares about winning his matches, which in the end is really the basis of professional wrestling. And I think if you showed a character like that through John Cena, who was an athletic dude who wanted to win and cared about winning, but wasn't smiley, jokey McBoy Scout all the time, I think that that's the kind of reaction that you would get, because you have a group of the audience, a large group of the WWE's audience right now, who absolutely love John Cena, the wrestler, the person.
Yeah, they're 10-year-olds.
Hey, but they are bringing in the money for Vince.
Those people are still going to be there.
Business.
And I guess I froze Adam.
I look at it with the Hulk Hogan thing, where he was a babyface for a while, turned heel, and it actually propelled his career higher. Like, he became immensely more popular after he turned heel, because you can always turn him babyface again down the road. With that short amount of time, you can capture all the fans that have been hating him for a while, turn him heel, and then go, hey, look, he's not that bad. Maybe get 6 moves of doom instead of 5.
He's a cool heel.
If they can get that edgy attitude back, like when he was the John Cena heel, rapping whatever, his wrestling still sucked, but he still had the basis of a huge fan base because he had the attitude. He had that swagger to kind of carry himself, where once he turned babyface and became Super Cena, everyone just dumped on him.
I see it being more like that Sting, how Sting turned to the black and white.
Don't invoke the crow.
No, I don't mean the crow thing, but the whole way how it worked and how people thought. I know it was an imposter Sting and all that, but aside from the imposter Sting thing, how Sting was like,
was it Barry Windham again?
I didn't do that. I'm not like that. But people were so hating on him and saying, oh, that was you. You did do the bad stuff. That he was like very anti-hero, but he was still like a good guy. He was just like very against the fans because the fans were going against him. I don't think Cena will be against the fans, but I think he'll be very hurt, and he'll be like, oh, I gotta harden up.
Well, listen, if we're bringing back A-Train, let's just bring back Bull Buchanan. Just start a good heel group with John Cena and Bull Buchanan.
Obviously, I think that the Cena topic is one that definitely we could do a whole show on, which might not be a bad idea, because obviously there are definitely some differing opinions.
I promise you, I'll fall asleep halfway through.
Which is great. Always makes for
not if I keep bringing up Bull Buchanan quotes.
All right. Adam, what was that? Where were you going with?
No. I was just gonna say that I was just gonna reiterate that point that that's probably something we could talk about all day here, and then Lord knows that we could definitely debate passionately about it.
So what's the?
At that time?
We gotta finish this up because we're pretty much an hour in. Let's just go with, instead of going through the whole card, what is the main event? What are the last three matches? What order is the last three matches?
Order of the last three matches is probably going to be Hell in a Cell, the Diva Tag match to kind of wipe everyone's palate, and then The Rock versus Cena will end it.
Adam?
Agreed.
I disagree.
Of course you would.
I'm disagreeing because I think they're going to be smart, and they're going to put.
Stop, Phil. I disagree with everyone.
I think they're going to put the Jericho, CM Punk. They're going to do. Well, I think it's going to be. Oh, this is so difficult. Rock and Cena are going to finish off the night. That's no doubt. I think it's going to be. Oh my God, it's difficult. It's Shawn Michaels versus. CM Punk versus Jericho, then the Hell in a Cell, then Rock versus Cena.
That's impossible. That cannot happen.
That's how I think it'll go.
The fans will be so drained from this Punk Jericho match. To follow it up with the Hell in a Cell, they'll be super drained because that match will just be off the hook. Hopefully.
How do you put Hell in a Cell in the middle of the night, or even at the beginning? Like, how do you do that? And then
do it towards the end. Like I said, Hell in a Cell, Divas match, because it wipes everyone clean, so they can relax. They can all go to the bathroom, get a drink, and then the Rock versus Cena.
So where's Jericho versus?
Here's how it could go. Here you got Daniel Bryan, Sheamus started off.
Yeah, that's obvious.
Then you can have Laurinaitis versus Team Long.
Okay, get it.
You can have Orton versus Kane.
Yeah.
You can have Cody and Big Show, CM Punk, Jericho. They kind of roll in to get everybody hyped up for the Hell in a Cell because they're going to be getting up there. Hell in a Cell goes. They kind of shoot their load. They can relax with the Divas tag match. Go home happy with The Rock versus Cena.
I think it would be more likely that, like in your scenario, the Hell in a Cell will go middle of the event, and then the Jericho,
you got to look
CM
at
Punk
this
will go
way.
later because they want that title match to be more main event.
But the problem is, if you put anything after that Hell in a Cell that's going to be that brutalistic, just that intense, the next match after it won't have the same effect. The fans won't be able to carry on.
I agree.
That's why you put the Divas tag match. If you put the championship, Punk versus Jericho, it'll be a great match. People are going to be hyped up. Then you throw the Hell in a Cell, people are going to be even more excited. Throw in the Divas tag match, people can go to the bathroom, get a drink, come back, Rock and Cena, go home happy.
I honestly hope, and I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's very unlikely, but I hope the Hell in a Cell is the last match.
Not going to happen.
I know, but it's still a hope. I think it'd be smart.
No. I definitely think there's potential for that to happen. I do agree that Rock and Cena is the more likely, but I don't think it's impossible. Improbable, yes, but not impossible.
I wouldn't mind Rock versus Cena as being the match right before that, and Hell in a Cell is the main event. But I just think I think if it's Hell in a Cell and then Diva match and then Rock versus Cena, it's still going to be like we just had a freaking Hell in a Cell match.
But if you look at any of the past WrestleManias, anything that's followed a big, semi-big main event like the Hell in a Cell, even Taker versus Triple H, the next match after that has always suffered because the fans are always tired. The fans are done whatever. Even if you have Hell in a Cell last, if people get pissed off with the Rock versus Cena, they're going to crap on the Hell in a Cell match. Like, you put, like, Cena wins and it's a crap win, they're going to be so pissed off. The fans are going to be so ticked off. Then you got to get these two guys coming out. They're going to have to go above and beyond. Someone's literally going to have to fly.
No, well, I think that's the perfect way to go because I don't think everyone's going to be happy with the Rock versus Cena match, no matter how well it goes. And I think
that's why you put it last.
No, you don't put it last because you don't want to have people have a sour taste in their mouth. You want the Undertaker to win, to be the last thing in the night, like the big. It's gonna be a lot of false endings for that match. And then it's going to be the big win for Undertaker in a questionable way.
Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll see, and then we'll talk about it later. Of course, we'll review our predictions.
I'm the Phil. I know what I know.
All right, so for Adam, from OC.
Adam rules. We love you, Adam.
OCWrestling.ca.
OC Wrestling kicks some ass. Look at the link down there. Not in my crotch, but below the screen.
Not where that thing
Below
usually is.
Is that OC Wrestling there? That's OC Wrestling. Oh.
Adam, anything to say? Yeah.
No, just looking forward to Sunday. I think it'll be a good show.
Yeah, it'll be pretty good. Kyle?
TheTechnophiles.com. Check me out on Twitter at Kyle Leishear or at The Technophiles. Check out my YouTube videos. Actually filmed my last YouTube video, which I don't know when I'm going to be posting it for the review for the LG Spectrum. I actually give a shout out to All for Geek.
Oh, nice. And just a little plug here.
Yes, who doesn't love the Samsung Galaxy Note?
That's beautiful. And me, I do have one thing to say, but allforgeek.com is my thing, go-to thing, this and that, and CrossTalk Wrestling.
CrossTalk Wrestling!
But I just want to add one thing. How are you guys watching WrestleMania this year?
I can't tell you.
And Adam?
I don't know yet. We had a huge party planned out with a local sports bar that was sponsoring OCW, but they had to back out due to some licensing issues and the price of the licensing for the show being extremely high.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
So there is potential for a private party to be held.
Why don't you just bring OCW superstars to Cineplex? They don't have to know about it.
Well, because it's $30 a person.
It's pretty expensive.
And that's a little ridiculous when we can all just go to,
one person's house for $50.
Someone's house with $10 each kind of thing. So,
Kyle, you're doing the old
what?
thing
No.
on the
rapid share download. No. File serve. No. Would never.
Never. My plan is to do the similar thing. I'm going to say it straight out. I'm going to torrent the crap out of this thing. I'm going to get the HD thing and watch it the next day. So I'm going to be on blackout. I'm actually going to be working the night before for Riverdance. I'm not actually dancing. Don't worry.
That I want to see. Phil doing Riverdance. That would be fantastic.
Well, you can have it.
But yeah, I plan to download it. I have my own party for solo party figured out.
We know all about your solo parties, Phil.
All right.
Look at Adam's face. Adam's like, oh.
For CrossTalk Wrestling, that's been another episode. Thanks, guys, for coming out.
No problem.
No problem. It's been fun. Bye-bye, Phil. Up close, Phil. Look at my deep eyes, Phil. Yes.
Adam, join us. Okay, this just got weird.
Love you, Adam.
I don't want to know.
There's your hole, Phil, that you wanted so badly.